Chapter 9 Judge Advocate General Corps Recruiting and Assessments General Duties Judge Advocate General responsible for selecting candidates for the duty Judge Advocate Corps active components and the reserve components U.S. Army Reserve Army National Guard recruiting, selecting, assessing the new Judge Advocates manager of the Judge Advocate Recruiting Office under the supervision of Chief of the Personal Planning Training Office. Eligibility applicable to the Judge Advocate the Regular Army for Officer. Applicants have the following with the qualifications appointment of citizenship applying with the must be a citizen of the United States pursuant to the Title 10 U.S. Standard Code 532A. Age applicants must be at least 21 years of age, must be able to complete 20 years of active commission service before their 62nd birthday and pursuant to the Title 10 U.S. Standard Code 3532A. 2. Charter and character applicants must be in a high morale character in accordance with the Title 10 U.S. Standard Code 532A3 with the physical fitness applicant must meet with the Army physical fitness test standards. All applicants must meet with the retention with the weight standard with the Army Regulation 609. Applicants must offer the otherwise physically qualified active student service pursuant with the Title 10 U.S. Standard Code 532A. Leadership ability. Applicant must be qualified in a potential leadership position and have the ability to deal effectively with people. Personal security requirements. Applicant must have the minimum of the secret security clearance before receiving any appointment. The exemption of the applicant may receive the commission before completion of a national agency. Check local records credit card with the NACL, CACL, national agency. Check with local records and credit check. We're equivalent to investigations of these conditions with the national agency check with the local records and credit or equivalent investigations has begun with the time the applicant entered with the active of the duty with the applicant agreed with the writing of the result of the investigation unfavorable will be subject to the discharge with the found ineligible to hold the commission waivers. Two conditions will not be granted. Low degree applicant must have the jury's doctor with a degree with the law school with accredited with the American Bar Association. Time the applicant that received the degree with his student within last year with the law school must apply with the commission with the graduation admission of the bar. Receive of the commission. The applicant must meet all of the bar administration requirements before the appointment or detail of administrative practice. Applicants must submit a the practice with a good standing with a license of authority admitting to the individual practice of law. Highest score of the state, territory, Commonwealth of the District of Columbia is further defined in paragraph 33D. Officers appointed and assigned with a detail with the Judge Advocate General Corps must meet with a good standing with a license of authority admitted to individual practice law before the highest score of the state, territory, Commonwealth of the District of Columbia further defined in paragraph 33D. 9.3. Eligibility assignment of the Judge Advocate Reserve Officer for the Army with the applicant must be citizen of the United States with a lawfully admitted with a permanent residence of the United States with the have previously served with the Armed Forces of the United States in accordance with the Title 10 U.S. Standard Code 12-201B. Applicant must meet with the minimum maximum age limitation set forth in the Army Regulation 135-100, otherwise specified with the Secretary of Army appointment of a person as a reserve of the Armed Forces. Applicant who cannot complete 20 years of active service before their 62nd birthday eligible appointment provided with the applicant signed with the statement that understanding with the applicant age precludes him or her qualifying with a retired pay and with the reserve of the Army. Applicant must meet with the pertaining eligible requirements, paragraph 9.2 of this regulation. Applicant recommended with the appointment of the Army National Guard approved by the Judge Advocate General and assigned with the Judge Advocate must apply with the appointment of federal recognition with the Army National Guard throughout the appropriate state Army National Guard headquarters. 9.4 submission with the application. Detailed information will include the point of contact data, application form with the instructions are available at JARO. Judge Advocate Recruiting Office with the website goarmy.com. JAG HTML applicants appointment with the Judge Advocate General Corps of the Regular Army U.S. Army Reserve officers must be complete with the electronic application for the Judge Advocate Reserve Recruiting Office with the online application system located for the Judge Advocate JAG-C net with the Army Mill. Attached required documents online applicant explaining with the applicant instruction arranged for the complete interview with a field screening officer. Applicant with a current member of the armed forces must present with a request for the branch transfer with a release from the current unit through the proper channels according with the appropriate regulations. These requests will stay with the branch transfer release contingent for the applicant's selection for the Judge Advocate General Corps. Reserve officer trained corps graduates granted with the education delay with the active duty with the 10 law school will complete electronic application of the Judge Advocate Recruiting Office with the electronic online application system located with the JAG-C net with the Army.mil. During the fall semester of the following year, law school must complete an interview with a field screening officer with the applicant. An appointment with the Army National Guard must complete with the National Guard Bureau Form 62A application federal recognition as the Army National Guard or warrant officer. Appointment of Reserve Command Officer, Reserve Commission Officer, warrant officer with the Army and the National Guard of the United States and submitted with along with the required enclosure of the respective state with the Gray Guard headquarters through the NGB. National Guard Bureau, Form 62E, application for the Federal Recognition Army National Guard Officer of the Warrant Officer appointment of the Reserve Component Reserve Commission Officer for the Warrant Officer of the Army of the National Guard of the United States, submitted with along with the required enclosure for the respective state of the quarter guard headquarters of the National Guard Bureau of the Judge and to the Judge Advocate Recruiting Officer for the address for the provided with the Judge Advocate Recruiting Officer website with the documents required for the complete with the application specified by the Judge Advocate Recruiting Office. And checklist accompanying with the application form with the posting of the Judge Advocate Recruiting Office website with the applicant with the interview with the procedure with the Judge Army with the applicant appointment with the Judge Advocate General Corps with the regular Army officer with the interview with the active with the duty Judge Advocate Fields service officer, applicant with a range for the interview with the obtain with the name, contact information, location, nearest, and field screening officer of the applicant with a consult with the Judge Advocate Recruiting Officer website with the applicant will not be reimbursed for the travel, the incident expense with the incurred with the complete with the interview requirement. Applicant will list with the day of the plate with the interview, identify with the interview with the officer with the online application. The field screening officer will contact the ABA accredited law school with the arrange for the interviews with prospective Judge Advocate General Corps applicants. The field screening officer will use the online field screening officer management tools to submit the field screening officer's reports with the applicant interviews, the reserve component applicants, and applicant for the appointment of the U.S. Army National Guard, Army National Guard assignment, Judge Advocate General Corps for the interview with the reserve component, Judge Advocate for the interviewing officer for the will prepare for the interviewing report during with the DA Form 5000 or applicant interview report, Judge Advocate General Corps for the interview report may be sent with the directive of the Judge Advocate Reserve officer for the submitted with the can with the applicant packet. Interviewing officers may also use the online field screening office for their management tools to submit their reports. Chapter 7, the regulation contained with the guidance for the containing regarding conditional assignment with the U.S. Army Reserve of the applicants or with the conditional with the Judge Advocate General Corps for the educational branch qualifications for federal recognition Army National Guard applicants. 896, selection of the applicants of the Board of the Government conveyed with the Judge Advocate General with the will consider the applicant with the Board will make of the recognitions of the Judge Advocate General with the make for the final selection officer for offered for the appointment contingent of the applicant meeting with the qualification appointment and with the actual number of the positions available in the official year. 797, the officer for the appointment and assignment of the Judge Advocate General Corps applicant must be made admitted with the practice of law by the highest court of the state of the territory with the Commonwealth of the District of Columbia before with appointment or assignment with the Judge Advocate General Corps of the law school with applying with during the final year with the law school may be selected with offered appointment with the contingent with the graduating accredited ABA law school with the dimension with the practice of the law. The Judge Advocate General with the Judge Advocate designated with a may revoke an offer and with appointment later with determining the applicant does not meet the eligible requirements for with the respondent offered with the appointment with a reasonable time designated with the offer of the appointment fails successfully passed with the bar examination that denied admission of the practice of the grounds failed with the secure with the membership of the good standing of the license authority with the admitted individual the practice law before highest courts of the state with the territory Commonwealth of the District of Columbia that is detailed in paragraph 33D with the end of the judgment with the Judge Advocate General with the become unqualified unsuitable for the performance of the duties of Judge Advocate applicant will have twice been unsuccessful at the bar exam regardless of whether one or more jurisdictions are involved will eligible for the appointment with the assignment of the Judge Advocate General Corps unless it is granted for the waiver of the Judge Advocate General. 9-8 service commitment applicants who accept the appointment must serve with the regular Army for such period with the active of the duty U.S. Army Reserve Army National Guard for such period with the non-active of the duty specified by the Secretary of Army with the time and the applicant in success. Applicant with the receive the ROTC scholarships will have not been yet fulfilled. The service obligations must serve on active of the duty minimum 4 years best interest of the Judge Advocate General Corps of the U.S. Army with the complete any of the remaining service obligation with the U.S. Army Reserve Army National Guard not as an active of the duty officer of the end of the duty with the duty Judge Advocate General Corps must remain active of the duty beyond the initial period of the service of the obligation will leave for the active of the duty of the officer required for the best interest of the Judge Advocate Corps in U.S. Army with the until eventually an involuntary release for the duty according to the regulation policy is established with the Secretary of the Army. 99 entry grade the entry gate Judge Advocate General Corps officer with the will to determine according to the regulation prescribed by the Secretary of the Army including the Army Regulations 829 officers appointed with the Judge Advocate General of the Corps of the regular Army officer with appointed with the Army Regulations 601-100 reserve components will be appointed with according to the provisions of the Army Regulation 135-100 former commission the officer with appointed with the RC with the will be appointed with the highest grade with which will qualify the base for the total constructive service credit with allowed under the Army Regulation 135-100. Reserve Component Commissioner officer of the Army Force other than the Army approved for the inter-service of the transfer be appointed for the Reserve officer Army with the officer of the will given the same grade of the day of the rank held with the form of the Army Force according to the AR Regulation 135-100 Army Regulation 614-120. Chapter 10, Judge Advocate General Funded Legal Education Program.